Hi, everybody. It's time for another edition of Wednesday with Walton and Reis. And as you can see, we have a special guest this week, Kareem Haq. We come to you each week in video form at thecardinalnation.com and in audio form at the Scoop Sports Network and all your favorite podcast apps. Welcome, Kyle, and welcome, Kareem.
Hello there.
Appreciate you guys having me on. Should be a fun episode talking about some drafts. The players the Cardinals drafted from rounds 8 to 20. Really looking forward to it.
And Kareem hit the nail on the head. Kyle had this great idea to focus on some of the guys that are lesser known, the players that were picked, later in day two of the draft, and that's going to be the meat of our session today. But first, we want to talk about some of the player moves that happened on Tuesday. Obviously, a big move that Tanner Franklin, the competitive balance B pick, was activated at Palm Beach. Probably won't be starting, or maybe he'll be an opener, pitch an inning or two here and there. But it's good to see more of the drafted players get a chance to play here. And Palm Beach still has a couple weeks left in their season. What should we expect from Tanner Franklin, guys?
Hopefully, a high velocity fastball. I would like to see them give him a multi innings. I hope it's not just one innings. And, unless his command's bad, unless his pitch count is getting high, I'd like to see him after his initial appearances just get a couple innings. I love this. I'm really excited about this. I'm sure that people are going to try to read into it maybe a little bit more than they should. But I think what I see a lack of collegiate innings in 2025, and that opens up a little bit of runway for him to show his high velocity fastball and his cutter at low A.
Now, on the other side of the coin, Kyle, he hasn't pitched competitively since probably the beginning of June. So, and obviously all these guys have been in Jupiter since they signed, and the Cardinals have had them throwing on the side and throwing bullpens and watching them. But I don't think it's realistic to assume he's going to pitch multiple. Maybe, but, I guess Gordon Graceffo did. He's the last guy that I remember that, when he came in his draft year, actually threw some meaningful innings.
I mean, Ty Van Dyke is tossing multiple innings
Well,
already,
there you go. There you go. 10th
but he
rounder.
was already stretched out. Played some summer ball, so I think it's a different situation with him as opposed to a guy like Tanner Franklin, who he wasn't pitching after Tennessee's season ended. I'm sure the Cardinals are still ramping him back up. So, like you said, I would expect at least to start one inning appearances, but hopefully he can build on from that, and we could see him go a couple innings here and there.
And we'd
Yeah,
like to see Liam Doyle get a chance too.
I don't mean like 3 or 4 or 5. Like I'm just talking about one or two, maybe two. Put him at start him at a 20 pitch count, then a 30, maybe get him up to. And we're getting to the end of the year. He probably doesn't have that many more opportunities, but maybe get him up to two, maybe 3 innings if he's an efficient. Like I just like to see that.
Yeah, and you're on a key point, Kyle, and that is efficiency. I mean, if he has a 5 pitch first inning, obviously they're going to have him come back out again.
A lot of those, please.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Now, another move that happened was not nearly as good news, and that's Frank Elisalt, one of the pitchers the Cardinals picked up in the trade for with the Mets. Made 3 appearances for Palm Beach, 7 ERA, a lot of walks, 7 walks in 7 1/3 innings. Now he's moved to the injured list. Comments?
No, it's a bummer. I guess that's just them's the breaks every once in a while, I think. And he's up there in innings as well, as compared to some of the collegiate innings he had thrown in the past. And I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it. I don't know if there's any additional details. So it's a bummer. Another pitcher injury to roll through the 2025 MILB season, and hopefully he comes back healthier and stronger and shows some more of what we saw in the Mets organization that makes him so promising.
The timing of it all is very curious, though.
Yeah.
Only a couple appearances, for Peoria, and just like that hits the IL. But yeah, I mean, he's for Elisalt for being a 19th round pick. He's such an exciting arm. I thought the Mets nailed that selection, and we saw that come to fruition early in the season, and they were able to cash in on him and acquire Ryan Helsley. I know there were a couple other pieces in that trade as well, but I think the Cardinals view Frank Elisalt uh, just as highly as those other two names. So
Well,
it sucks to see.
that's some pretty high praise.
Yeah, I mean he's an exciting arm, mid 90s fastball, flat approach angle. Reminds me a little bit of Brian Wu from just a Arsenal standpoint. Really low arm angle, but there still is a lot of developing for I believe a 23-year-old that was a 19th round pick. But you could see why people like me and Kyle are so high on him. His stuff is very intriguing.
Yeah, and you mentioned Kareem that the timing is interesting. They now have this development list, which is where they move guys, that are struggling or need some time away, or they just don't have any room in the roster. So I'm assuming he's actually really injured, but who knows? I guess we'll find out soon enough. The other couple of things that happened that were interesting, the Cardinals had a couple of pitchers of the week in their leagues, and it's worth noting. Eshawn Henderson was the Texas League Pitcher of the Week, and Lionel Sequeira was the Florida State League Pitcher of the Week. Let's start with Henderson. I mean, we've talked about Henderson a lot, Kyle, but let's hear what Kareem has to say about Eshawn Henderson, the lefty from Springfield.
We've seen a velocity uptick with a Henderson, much like another name at AA, Bryson Motts. I think that's the first thing that stands out to me. Continuing to develop the cutter that he added in the Arizona Fall League. The sweeper has taken a step up this year with the velocity uptick as well. He's just a well-rounded arm, someone that, you know, I wouldn't say it's the most explosive stuff in the world, but there is still a little bit of stuff in there. I think the fastball characteristics are solid, and seeing that velocity shoot up closer to the mid 90s, I think he sits around 94 on it. Yeah, it's good to see him find this level of success at AA in his first year at the level. And, I'd like to see him get a cup of coffee at AAA to end the year. I think he's earned it.
One of the things that Kyle and I talk about every week are the left-handers at Springfield, and we contrast that with the guys that are in the Memphis rotation, who some of them are very effective, but they're placeholders. And, for an organization that's trying to further pitching development, you scratch your head at why none of these guys have had a chance to move up. Maybe they're worried because Roby got hurt after he moved on. I don't know, but
Yeah, it is I've followed enough Red Sox fans and seen enough Red Sox disdain over the last couple of years. One of the things that Heim is kind of beat up for, whether it be factual or not, I don't know. I've just seen a lot of fans say that the development system, both Red Sox and Tampa Bay, the development system moves very slow with pitching in particular. So I think that really is playing into it as well. Brian, we've talked about how aggressive the old regime is, and it definitely seems like it's slowed down quite a bit. But yeah, I echo the same sentiments Kareem said, what you and I have been talking about for weeks. Give me some combination of Eshawn or Mounts in particular at AAA by the end of the year. I don't know how it benefits your organization with these older collegiate arms. These aren't prep arms; these are collegiate arms. To keep them down at AA for the duration. It is August 19th as we record this. When it goes live, it'll be August 20th. It's not the beginning of July. It's not like give these guys a little runway. It's just pointless what's happening now. And I hate to be that way, but this isn't Pete Hansen. Pete Hansen has good breaking pitches. He has good off-speed
but
stuff.
he doesn't have a good fastball. We know.
But the fastball, Henderson and Mounts both have that. Mm-hmm. They're going to be okay at AAA. They might get beat up a little bit, but they're going to be okay. Give them that opportunity.
So I can't say the 40-man roster is an issue. So I don't know what the issue is.
Wouldn't it be good to see those two guys get some innings at the AAA level with the major league ball to see what the stuff is like, especially for a Bryson Motts, who you will have to protect in the Rule 5 draft coming up. I think it would be good to see what the stuff looks like, even for a smaller sample. I think pitcher data normalizes like pretty quickly. So even a couple starts at the end of the year, I think that would be good to see. Especially a guy like Bryson Motts and even Pete Hansen, you could throw him in there.
You're on a good point, Kareem. And I've seen people say, well, the Cardinals aren't promoting the guys because they want to, they don't want them to be seen before the Rule 5 draft. Well, I mean, there are scouts out there. They know these guys no matter what level they're pitching. To think that not promoting a guy is going to somehow make him less appealing in the Rule 5 draft is kind of ridiculous, especially when they're dominating at the level they're at. So, that logic, whoever's thinking that should park it.
Which also says nothing for the fact that nowadays there's been a lot of rumors and I guess anticipation for AI modeling that organizations are doing. So my guess is that there are certain organizations that have AI models, whether they be accurate or not, that are projecting how stuff below AAA will react with the Major League Baseball. I think that's a fair assumption to make based on some of the undercurrents you're hearing. So I think that they can project that. I don't think there's no such thing as hiding anymore, Brian, to your point.
I think that I have to make an admission now that this is, in fact, an AI-generated podcast and for some time because that's the only way that we've kept Kyle clean for 8 months now. He
Yeah.
has yet now I'm going to say that and he's going to drop an F-bomb tonight or something, but so far things have been really, really good here, but it's only because of AI that's happening.
Yeah, I'm digital, 100%. I have not, like, that regular Kyle has not recorded. He's actually drunk in a closet somewhere, in one of Brian's closets in his house.
That's the only reason I could get him to do it.
Yeah, Brian. So you know it's AI because Brian put me in this AARP St. Louis shirt. I don't know what point he's
Hey,
trying to
I
make.
resemble that shirt, okay? All right. Lionel Sakara. Anybody got any comment? He was on the upper edges of my top 50. He got booted off only because got bumped off only because of the influx of trade guys. But he's pitching very, very well at Palm Beach and still a young guy.
Yeah, I just updated my top prospect list, and he's my number 30 ranked prospect of the organization now. When we're looking at a Sakara, still someone that uh is he still 19 or 20?
I think he's still 19. Hold on, let me check.
But very young for the level still, and he's having so much
No, he's
success
20
down.
now. He
He's
had his
20.
20th birthday. Yeah.
Okay. It must have been a recent birthday. Um, but Sakara plus slider, I think that's the first thing that stands out to me. Gyro slider, mid 80s pitch. Fastball has ticked up a little bit this year. It was like 91, 92 range last year. It's closer to 93 on average, and he can get up to 96. He throws two variants. He has a four seamer, which not the best shape in the world, lower release. I think it could play decently well. But what I think he does so well is manipulate that pitch with a two seamer that he throws just off of it that makes it hard for hitters to adjust to. So I mean, the manipulation of the two fastball variants that he has is something that impresses me a lot at such a young age. A lot of those younger international prospects, they usually have one fastball that they lean on. To see Sakura show feel for two different pitches that he can use regardless of the matchup. He throws the four seam and sinker to both righties and lefties, and he works the gyro slider wonderfully off of it. The changeup is still a work in progress, I would say, but I think this is an arm that's so advanced for his age. He already has a plus breaking pitch, and he commands his arsenal really well. So, yeah, he's been someone that caught my eye. He caught my eye last year. Pitching down at Palm Beach, and he's carried that into this year where he's found so much success at that level. But yeah, he's an interesting arm for sure.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that I even said that, like, when on Twitter after I gift something, I was like, I don't know why I didn't put him on my top 50. That was stupid. And for me, it's all about command. There are two things that I tend to be dismissive of at the Dominican level from the Caribbean kids. One is strikeout rate for pitchers. I don't think it gives any indication of exactly how good they are. What I want to see when they get to Palm Beach is feel for pitches. And then if usually 99% of the time, if a hitter does not produce power at all in their first turn through the DSL, I'm usually pretty dismissive about it. It's part of the reason why I don't care about Yairo Padilla. Sure, he has a body to grow into it, bat speed to grow into it, but usually those guys it does not translate. They won't translate. They'll start making bad swing decisions. So those are the two things and Seguera, he has command. He showed command last year, and he continues to build on that. So that's why I like Seguera.
All right, let's switch gears and get into the main event here, which is some unheralded Cardinals guys that were drafted this year. And let's pick it up with eighth rounder Ryan Weingartner from Penn State. He is active at Palm Beach, as will the next few players we talk about. What did you know about him coming in, and what are you seeing from him now, Kareem?
He was impressive on the Cape. I know that he caught a lot of scouts' eyes and organizations' eyes on the Cape. He's kind of a slap hitter who can play short. Now, this poor kid, it has been a rough turn for him to start his Palm Beach career. He's been kind of brutal in the field, brutal at the plate, but he makes a lot of contact, and he does some decent things with pitches out of the zone. Like, at least he did in college. Now, that stuff has not translated. He has not been particularly impressive. But really, his ability to make contact and kind of slap the ball over the infielders' heads, find some room, and also run into some pull power is kind of what makes him intriguing as an eighth rounder.
Kareem, what do you add on Weingartner?
Weingartner, Started his collegiate career at St. Joseph's, transferred over to Penn State this year, had an up and down season, showed some power, stole 30 bags. I think that's probably his signature skill overall, but just in terms of the offense, he makes some really good swing decisions. It's a 70% zone swing rate, which is above average. He's aggressive inside the strike zone, and he's just swinging at pitches at 15% of the time outside the zone. So, I mean, that was probably the best. That has to be up there in terms of Z minus O swing for players in the whole draft this year. So offensively, I think that's probably his calling card. Offensively, the bat to ball skills and the exit velocities, they nothing really stands out. They're very average, I would say. But what he does such a good job of is when he hits the ball hard, he elevates. So that helps with some of that power production. And as we saw this year, he hit 11 home runs. So whether that's able to carry over to the pros is yet to be seen. But I think there is some power in the bat. So yeah, I mean, he's a middle infield guy, probably a better second baseman than a shortstop. I think he'll have a chance to stick at short, but a very fast player that has good swing decisions, and hopefully the offense can, hopefully he can be a solid enough offensive player, on the back of those swing decisions, because I mean that's something hard to teach, and he's another guy that crushes breaking balls. So I mean I think that's a skill set that oftentimes translates over to the next level where he's going to go up against more breaking pitches. He feasts on breaking balls, so that's another one of Weingartner's skills, I would say.
All right, Michael DeTalo, small school guy, third baseman, also active at Palm Beach. Is he a guy that we should keep an eye on, or no? Kyle, you weren't necessarily that high on him, right?
Yeah, so again, this is where I get a little frustrated. I want to see power. Now, he has every scout that you talk to before the draft will tell you the same thing over and over, and it's manifested so far at Palm Beach. He has great bat control, right? And he knows how to make the right kind of contact. So this third baseman who's a light hitting power guy who finds the barrel all the time. It's just a matter of if they can get him swinging for power. It's funny. I'm watching Double A tonight, and Josh Baez and Zach Levinson are hitting back to back, and the two of them have to have a contest to see who can swing harder. And I'm anxious to see if Mike Dadalo gets involved in this contest, because really that's going to be the key. If he can continue to make the type of contact that he's capable of making, but swinging hard to do damage, then you might actually have more than just minor league depth here. But if he can't get to his power at his positions with his athleticism, it's not going to matter. So that's why I'm a little low on him. But as Kareem will tell you, he's been really impressive so far at Palm Beach.
Yeah, I think Kyle hit the nail on the head. This is a guy that's got impressive barrel control. And for someone that makes as much contact as he does, not only inside the strike zone, but outside the strike zone, he had a 45% sweet spot rate. Now, what is that? That's, batted balls 8 to 32 degrees. So he's consistently hitting those line drives, those fly balls where he's going to, find holes consistently. And he's carried that college success to the pros. I believe in his first 9 batted ball events at the Palm Beach level, he had 6 of those, sweet spot batted balls, in between 8 to 32 degrees. And, that's a really great skill set to have. As Kyle touched on, the power isn't really there. This isn't going to be someone that's going to slug a whole lot. The exit velocities just aren't going to match up with, the barrel feel.
Is he good enough? Is he good enough defensively to stay at third? Because if he ends up at first base, not having the power is going to be a death knell.
I think the Cardinals must be bullish on his ability to play third base, because this isn't the offensive profile that's going to work out at first base. And I wonder if there's more positional versatility there too, whether it be a left field or a right field, because I think that's where he's going to find his value as a major league player if he ends up, becoming one, is, a versatile piece off the bench, someone that can provide, the contact skills and slap the ball around a little bit to hit for average.
Okay. All right.
I am anxious to see if they think maybe somewhere down the line he'll have second base versatility. He's not the kind of kid that you would picture at second base, and they've got 300 of them. I do think that there's a chance that that could be a default if he doesn't manifest his power. It'll be a rough second base with some of his lateral movement, but yeah, I think that there's a chance.
All right, so that's Michael Detallo. Kareem already brought up Ty Van Dyke, but let's talk about him. College senior sign. He only signed for $150,000, a budget sign, but interesting fastball and a slider, two-pitch guy that some were saying, well, he's going to be a reliever, but the Cardinals not only activated him, but he's pitching multiple innings as a starter and doing pretty well.
Yeah, and he's throwing everything. He's throwing 45 pitches every game, different pitches. He throws 32 pitches to start, and all 32 of them are different. No, so he's toying with things at Triple or at Palm Beach, and that's awesome to see. Look, I just love watching the kid pitch. You can tell he pitches angry, and he's round. We've talked about it about 100 times, and he's delightful. And he, again, that energy and that excitement and that kind of edge to him, he's just fun to watch. There's some things he's going to clean up. I mean, there's a reason he's a 10th rounder, but
listed at 6'2", 255, but I think that might be conservative.
yeah, the guy, he drinks beer. I have no doubt about it. But that is like I just like what he has to start with, and the fact that he's not scared, and that he is toying with things already, which I think is a huge positive.
Kareem?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with Kyle. It's funny because in college, as you said, Brian, he was more of a two-pitch guy, fastball, sweeper. He did have all these other secondaries, but he just didn't throw them a whole lot. He has a curveball. I think it's a splitter that he just kills the spin on. He's got a cutter as well to go along with the two primary pitches being his four-seamer and sweeper. This is a guy. 1.52 ERA in 47 and a third innings at Stetson. We touched on this a little bit, but was used as a multi-inning reliever. I think the Cardinals' plan is to ultimately stretch him out into a full starter. So yeah, I mean, it should be interesting to see how this arsenal develops. I think that just from a pure stuff perspective, all of these offerings seem to be adequate enough for him to, be able to throw them. It's just about him, harnessing that command and feel for the offerings. And so far at Palm Beach, I think he's done a good job, albeit it being only a handful of innings. But yeah, I thought that was an intriguing get in the 9th round, I believe, right?
10.
Uh,
9 was Dadalo. 10 was.
Oh, okay. 10th round.
10th round.
Yeah.
Yep.
Another guy, good fastball shape, efficient pitch. Velocity could use a little bit of work, I would say. It's around 92 right now on average, but he did touch 97, so maybe there's a little bit more in the tank there. But yeah, I thought it was a intriguing arm, and I'd imagine the Cardinals.
97-mile-an-hour fastball in the 10th round.
Yeah, I mean, you take that.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's 10 other guys. There's not going to be time to talk about every one. So Kareem, I'm going to put you on the spot and say rounds 11 through 20. Who's a few guys you want to single out that folks ought to be keeping an eye on? Where do you begin?
You know what? I'll begin with the 11th rounder, Jalen Flores. Or actually, no, I know that's Kyle's guy. We'll let Kyle talk about Jalen Flores, but I'll go with the next pick, Caden Eschman, 12th rounder. Fastball metrics are crazy. 21 inches of induced vertical break from a 5.6 release is like alien stuff. Like I've never seen that before. And when you watch some of his videos, it's a straight up rise ball. It looks like an optical illusion. It's crazy. Only around.
So why did he stay around till the 12th round then?
Well, the performance might not have matched up, and he was at a lower level school too, so a little bit of an under the radar arm, pitching at Northern Kentucky. So I mean, I think this is the great part of having this scouting staff that is willing to go after a guy from Northern Kentucky that is not 100% developed, even if he is a little bit older, but he has those traits to develop into something special.
And let me be fair to Eschman. He received $25,000 over slot for 12th rounder. So he was a guy the Cardinals wanted, and they were willing to pay a little extra to get him.
Yeah, I'm in love with the fastball. There are a plethora of secondaries in there: sweeper, curveball, cutter, change. Like he's got the arsenal to be able to start. And when you have a fastball that is as metrically appealing as his is, I thought that was that was one of my favorite picks in the whole draft.
All right. Well, since he dropped Jalen Flores, let's talk about him. Flores, shortstop, he's from Texas. Didn't have a good year. Didn't have a good spring. He's activated at Palm Beach as well, right?
Yeah, that's correct. And he's doing exactly what he did at Texas. There's no doubt about it. He's playing a really solid short. When he's playing short, he's making poor swing decisions. And then when he does make contact, it's 99 miles an hour, and unfortunately too much on the ground so far. That's the deal. There's two things that have become incredibly evident with me about Jalen Flores. One is whatever happened going from the Big 12 to the SEC. I don't know what his prep was as Texas transitioned from the Big 12 to the SEC. He changed his swing, and there's a hitch in his swing, and it's really bad, and it's with his hands. His hands do not sync up with his hips, and because of that, he flies. His arms are just flying. And if the Cardinals can pave that thing out, then they will get production similar to the top 100 prospect he was entering the 2024 draft. But his swing has changed completely. His body seems to have changed a little bit. His whole timing is different than it was in 2024. So it's a matter of how much they can get him back to 2024. You never know if it's whatever it is causing it. But again, that's the gist with him. If he can get his swing decisions in line and work on that hitch in his swing, you might have major league debut in there.
Out of
So
all the
that's
draftees that have debuted at Palm Beach, I think Flores' exit velocities have been the most impressive, and that's even including a Jack Gurevich, who in college he had a 117 max. So Flores has been popping a lot of 95 pluses. Like I think that exit velocities have been encouraging, but as Kyle noted, swing decisions need some work. He's not making a ton of contact right now, but you could see the promise with Flores.
all right. Who's another guy that you want to call attention to for our listeners on in this 11 to 20 round, guys? Kareem.
Well, for me, the guy that I'm most anxious to see is Jake Shilagowski, the Saginaw Valley State 4-year junior, or whatever he is. Because Brian, I can't find anything on this guy. He is so. I want to give Kareem a hat tip, and in the process, give the scouting department a hat tip. Because where do you find this guy? Like, what is going on? Like, this is awesome. This is exciting. This is what I get excited about. This is part of why I got into all of this in the first place. This guy, he might not even exist. No one knows for sure, Brian. And we're going to find out together. And that's really exciting. And then when you talk to some scouts who actually know about him, they're like, oh, no, we thought this kid might actually be undrafted and we might be able to sign him as an undrafted free agent. But the Cardinals jumped on him because apparently he has there's some really interesting pitch characteristics with the release similar to what the Cardinals are looking for.
Okay, there you go. Jake Shilagowski, 13th round. The guy we need to talk to is Jason Bryans. He's the scout that signed that advocated for Shilagowski. I don't know Jason, but I think one of us ought to find him.
Sorry, I'm trying to get the dog. You guys keep going.
Kyle is in a new residence and he has a dog now, and we're looking forward to seeing him on the podcast. Kyle knew at some point that the dog would make an appearance, and here we are. What is the dog's name?
This is Agnes. We call her Aggie. The prior owner named her. She's about a year old. She's a mini dachshund, and she's kind of a jerk, but she's incredibly sweet, and she loves kissies, and she's not ready to make her TV debut just yet. She's a little coy.
All right, there you go. Cannot top cute dogs. Kyle,
keep going. I'm ready to go. We're ready.
Right.
Aggie's been scouting Shilagowski, so
there you go.
She's the one who's got the dirt.
Kareem, where do you want to go next?
14th rounder Anthony Watts is someone that comes to mind. University of Iowa, was used as a reliever. I think he's got one of the best breaking balls that the Cardinals drafted in this whole class. It's 86 miles an hour, gyro shape, had a 36% whiff rate this year. Fastball is around 92, 93, can touch 96, and it's got decent characteristics. Had a 33% whiff rate. Biggest thing with him that stands out to me, though, is the extension that he gets on the mound. It's close to 7 feet. I think that's probably the most intriguing characteristic of an Anthony Watts, and he's still like a raw pitcher, I would say, but it'll be interesting to see what the Cardinals end up doing with him. I don't know if this guy's 100% going to be a reliever or they have a plan of stretching him out. Is just primarily like a two pitch guy right now. Did flash a changeup that he threw a little bit, but he's an intriguing arm, a fastball that misses bats, and he pairs it with a plus slider. Can't go wrong with that in the 14th round.
I'm assuming some of that extension is from his height. He's listed at 6'4". He's the second tallest pitcher the Cardinals got in the draft class after Tanner Franklin, who's 6'5".
Yeah, and he's also fun to watch pitch. Sometimes I'm in this new stage of my life, Brian, where I'm all about fun. Like we need to emphasize fun.
Where were you before, Kyle? I'm just curious.
It was a dark time
don't
for me,
answer.
Brian.
Don't answer. Go on. Go on.
But yeah, he's really fun to watch. Like I went back and caught some of his appearances, and he's really fun to watch.
Anthony Watts, University of Iowa. Okay. Kyle, you want to throw out? Is there a guy you're interested in that we didn't cover yet?
So let me tell you, one guy that I was up in because I've been so into specifically the pitchers with good fastballs that they drafted, and I've been kind of down on some of the bats that they drafted.
Yeah, I mean, didn't not to interrupt again, but I did.
Yeah,
Didn't like all the pitchers they drafted have good fastball. I mean, that was kind of the common theme, right?
yeah, with traits that that would make you think they can spin the ball. So between all of the pitchers with good fastballs and traits that show that they might be able to spin a breaking pitch with proper tutelage, uh, I've been kind of down on some of the hitters, but and because of that, I've been pretty dismissive of the shortstop from Stanford, Trevor Haskins, who was the Cardinals' 15th round pick, who actually had a really great year for Stanford, kind of under the radar, but it's just he's a weird combo of athleticism and swing decisions and power he runs into. But we are just kind of going over the list now, but it's like I'm really interested to see what it looks like when he does get into organized baseball because he's one of those hitters that just slowly made little incremental stride, comes from a place unknown before Stanford and is like kind of on the radar and under the radar at the same time. So there might be more there with Haskins than I gave credit for. I'm anxious to see.
And actually, Haskins is like one of the last two guys, position players that hasn't been activated yet. I think Ryan Mitchell's the only other one.
Yeah,
Haskins has such an aggressive approach, 80% zone swing, and he's chasing like 36% of the time. I wonder if he tones that down a bit, but that's probably what makes him special too. So finding the fine line between aggressiveness and not chasing too much is going to be key with a guy like Haskins.
All right, Kareem, last name you want to throw out of this batch to talk about?
Last name.
Maybe
I was going to go with
Breckenheimer.
I guess we'll still go with Breckenheimer. The next pick. We've pretty much gone in row of all the selections after round 8.
Well, then let's keep going. Go ahead, Breckenheimer.
Yeah, well, in terms of all the day 2 picks, I believe he had the highest signing bonus, 200,000.
That says something, right? That speaks to me at least.
Yeah, so he transferred into Kansas from a Division II program, I believe. And another guy. Good fastball, 93 miles an hour, 18 inches of carry, is up to 98. And has a breaking ball, gyro slider, 84 miles an hour. He's primarily a 2-pitch guy at this point, but he's another guy that I just have fun. Like Kyle's talked about a lot of guys that that are just fun to watch, and he's just a fun guy to watch, like a massive presence on the mound. I believe he's 6'6", 250 or something close to that.
I misread the list. He's also at least listed at 6'5", but he's listed at 6'5", 270.
Oh,
so
wow.
we're talking about a big man and Alex Breckenheimer.
It's like Jonathan Broxton vibes out there.
Yeah.
But
there's some quirk in his delivery, and he's thick, and I don't need anything more.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. Fastball slider combo, and with him being a overslot guy, going for 200K, like I don't know if this is someone they plan on stretching out. Was mostly a 2-pitch guy at Kansas, reliever. I believe he ended up as their closer at the end of the season, but we'll see what the Cardinals end up doing with all of these arms that they drafted. You can't have all these guys starting, but it was a lot of fun, intriguing, high upside arms, and loved the class as a whole.
Dirk Kinney found him, and Dirk is a longtime Cardinal scout, pretty well respected in the industry. So he must have known something about Breckheimer. Cameron Nickens, the outfielder from Austin P, was actually activated on Tuesday, so we'll get a chance to see him play at Palm Beach, hopefully. Any thoughts about him, guys?
I think his underlying data, or pretty much all of his stats, this past year at Austin P were ridiculous. And he won the player of the year for the conference, the ASUN conference. Exit velocities are there, 107 mile an hour, 90th, gets to it consistently, doesn't chase, swings in the zone at a decent clip, makes a lot of contact. But this is someone that only has 1 year of a track record, was previously at Houston, transferred over to Austin P and found so much success this year. But this is still a guy that the Cardinals ended up signing, for 50,000. So I don't know if this was someone other teams were coveting so much, and with there only being that 1 year sample at a lower division school, I think that's why he fell through the cracks a little bit. But everything from a production and data standpoint was impressive for him this past year at Austin P. So it'll be I'll be interested to see like how that translates over to pro ball. Whether the changes that he made, because he did make some swing changes, whether that can carry over or it was just a flash in the pan season for him.
All right.
Yeah, he's also the type of kid that like had he had the chance to play in Cape Cod or one of the other highly thought of summer leagues, it might have really helped him. But he didn't. He played in I think it was like the Texas summer league and the like California summer league in separate seasons, and so he just kind of got drowned out. But he's really interesting. Again, they found a kid with their characteristics from a school that maybe wasn't getting a lot of attention.
No, we're talking about 17th round.
Yeah.
We're talking about Cameron Nickens. All right, we'll cover them all. What the heck? We're close to it. Dylan Dreesen got 125,000. Right-handed pitcher out of South Dakota State. Hails from Omaha, Nebraska, home of the College World Series.
Yeah, not a whole lot of people go from Omaha to South Dakota State. So that tells you all about his mental toughness right there, if you ask me, Brian.
There you go. He didn't play for the Huskers. Maybe they didn't offer him. I don't know.
I know we've talked about some guys that we're not sure whether they're going to start or relieve. I think Dylan Dreisen is 100% going to be a reliever. Fastball curveball combo in both pitches, I think, have some intrigue characteristics. The curveball, two plane shape, elite spin rates. Fastball gets up to 20 inches of vert. But the control to this point has been a major issue. Everything from a mechanic standpoint, he just screams a reliever to me. I don't think the Cardinals are going to move this guy into a starting role. It really surprised me. But to have the two pitches that he does have with the fastball and curveball, hopefully we can get him in the zone a little bit more, and that stuff can profile in a bullpen.
Yeah.
Kyle concurs. All right. Liam Best, right-handed pitcher, Appalachian State, 19th round.
I'm pro anybody from Appy State. That's a thing to a degree for me. I think when you get to Appy State ends up being like one of those colleges that ends up producing more than you realize. But again, another intriguing arm that we're going to learn about together. I'm sure Kareem has the collegiate data for us.
Yeah, the gyro slider that he throws from his over-the-top slot is filthy, 62.5% whiff rate. I think that's, the biggest thing that stands out to me with him. Another arm, back-to-back. I think Liam Best is more than likely a reliever, another guy that has some command issues. But, hey, when you have a fastball, that's like his, with the kind of characteristics that he has, 94 miles an hour, 19 inches of vert, and he just bangs that, gyro slider off of it from that over the top release. I mean, it's a nightmare for opposing hitters. And we saw that with the whiff rates. I mean, 62% whiff rate on the slider is kind of nuts.
And we can't leave out the last pick, right? Central Missouri State. So a local guy or area guy, Chase Heath, catcher, only got $50,000, but nice to see the Cardinals use a pick on somebody that will actually be in the organization. And in past years, they would often use this pick as a pick a hard to sign guy if they weren't able to spend all their money. This year, as we've talked about in previous episodes, they chose to not spend to 105% and cap it at 100. So Chase Heath didn't cost any money toward their overall allocation.
And it was
Kareem,
good
you
to
had-
see them go after another the MLB Draft League player. Last year, doing so with Daniel Ortiz, who I had a lot of fun watching over there. He caught my eye at the MLB Draft League, and he was a name when the Cardinals picked him. I was so excited, and he's turned out to have a fantastic 2025 season for the Cardinals in his first full professional season. So yeah, he again, as you said, to pick a local guy, that's always a fun story. And was the cherry on top being someone that played in the draft league. I love watching that league.
Yeah, no, I agree. I love it all. Kareem, at some point you had tweeted out something about his early season success at Palm Beach, and now I don't remember what it is. And of course, now I'm trying to look through it, but yeah, you sort of hit on it. He's come in. He has a very strong head on his shoulders, and I don't know. He's been really impressive when he's gotten a chance to be.
All right. There you have it. We have covered the rounds 8 through 20 of the Cardinals draft this year. A number of these players have already started playing. Some of them probably we will see still, since there's, the Palm Beach will play until roughly Labor Day. And that'll be the end of it. They're not going to make the playoffs this year as they had the last several. But these guys are, working out down in Jupiter, and, they'll all be in their first regular spring camp, and I'll be down there again for the duration next spring, and looking forward to seeing some of these guys in person for the first time. Thanks to you, Kyle, for coming up with the idea for this session, and especially to you, Kareem Haq, for joining us. Make sure that you catch Kareem at his Birds on the Farm podcast, as well as CardinalsProspects.com. Very active on social media, on X, Kareem SSN, but you probably know that already. And of course, thank you to Kyle in his new abode with his Wonder Dog in AI, the AI version of Kyle. So,
Thank you.
guys,
Thanks for having us,
thank you
Brian.
for
It was
participating
awesome.
this week.
Appreciate it, Brian. It was a lot of fun.
Sorry, Kyle.
Oh, I said, thanks for having us. This was a blast. I appreciate you hosting.
Kareem, we're going to figure out a way to get you on semi-regularly, because your wealth of information is something that is very much appreciated.
Means a lot, Brian. Every time I hop on this show, it's a blast to be on with you too.
All right. Well, thanks. And that's all for this episode of Wednesday with Walton and Reis, and we will see you again on the 27th.